Client builder facilitation is one of the most challenging aspects of the process. It's something that through my experience I've learned to do both through study of facilitation and through the experience of being in the trenches with people. And what I have come to discover is that behavioral flexibility is one of the keys to that process. It sounds like a technical term. Essentially, it means knowing how to act in a condition of uncertainty. There is no script to facilitating client builder meetings. There are multiple people in the process with different issues and different concerns out of what they hope to gain. And knowing how to handle all of those competing demands and operate in a condition where different things are happening that are very unpredictable is one of the greatest challenges of the entire process. Now, it does take some experience in the trenches to make that work, but having the flexibility and allowing the process to uncover and guide the facilitation is absolutely critical. So as a facilitator, being rigid or formulaic is really the death of the process. Knowing the next right thing to say is really one of the most challenging aspects of client builder facilitation. It really means that the facilitator has to separate what he or she thinks is the next right thing to say with what the group really needs to experience or to hear to move to the next level. In some cases, frustrating feedback, which could be experienced as confrontational or challenging, is what the group needs to shift and move to the next level. Sometimes people need to be roughed up a bit in order to fully comprehend and face the challenges that they're experiencing. In other cases, what the group needs is support, some cheerleading and some positive reinforcement to really see and understand the gains that they've made and to build the confidence for moving to the next level. So again, the challenge is for the facilitator to really comprehend and act on what is best for the group. And that requires a connection and a sense of very active listening on the part of the facilitator. Well, one of the greatest challenges that client builder facilitators have is getting out of their own way. And really that means recognizing that their talents and abilities must become secondary to what the group requires to move forward. I know from my personal experience in facilitating many of these groups that the people who precede me, very often the managers or leaders of the organization, have a wealth of knowledge and experience to impart to the groups. The challenge is actually conveying that to the group in a way that they can take in and make use of that information. And very often what I see is that doesn't happen in an effective manner. Therefore, it leads to frustration on the part of the leader or manager who can't understand why people aren't acting on this information in a more beneficial way, and the participants who feel very often lectured at. So getting out of your own way recognizes that as a facilitator, the talents you have are only as good as the ability for the people in the group to take them in and make use of them. So very often it requires a slowing down of the process, a very strong sense of active listening, letting your own short-term ego needs go as a facilitator, and being very patient with a group and taking them through a process that very often isn't moving at the speed that you want, but is at the speed that they require. Facilitation is a critical aspect of client builder groups. Whether or not they actually start up or continue for a long period of time depends on the successful implementation of facilitation, whether it's done by an internal leader within an organization or by an external resource. Facilitation actually accomplishes many key things for the group. One is it sets the tone for the meeting. Two, it defines the boundaries that are important for the process. And three is it manages the flow of what goes on. One of the greatest challenges, however, is for the facilitator actually to get out of their own way in that process and fully show up and support the group. Just as a financial professional wants to be a trusted advisor for their clients, a facilitator of a client builder meeting wants to be or needs to be a trusted advisor for the group. And that requires placing the needs of the group above the short-term needs of the facilitator.